Everybody, what's up? Circus here, coming at you with this week's power rankings video, and it's a doozy. It's always a doozy, and that's why I bring Kamel in, because he likes doozy things, don't you, buddy?
I sure do, and yeah, another week, guys. Last week? How many weeks? How many more weeks did I say it would be until we reach a Shiranui Tier 0 meta? Because I
It's getting
don't know.
close. People might disagree, but they might be wrong too.
I may be wrong.
But if you guys don't know what we do here, every week we track tournaments in the community and we see how decks do in those tournaments. Then we assign them points based on how they finish. So if a deck gets a first place finish, we'll give them 6 points. If it gets a second place finish, it's 4 points. Top 4 is 2 points, and a top 8 is a single point. Now all the tournaments need to be running in the same format so that we can compare and contrast the results. So we require them to have rounds of Swiss into a top cut, a 7 deck side deck, and they can side in a skill, and that's really about it, right?
Yep, that's it. That's all you need on the power ranking.
Yep. All right, so with that in mind, the tournaments that made that cut this week were the Battle Phase series, and I did lie last week. I said we were going to have 7 tournaments this week, and then I realized it's KC Cup, so we always end up taking Friday, Saturday, Sunday off because no one shows up to our tournaments. Imagine that.
Love that.
So and the draft bi-weekly, so yay to them for doing it. But I promise this week, no, we'll only have 6 because it's Battle Phase Sunday won't be on there.
Oh man, that's right.
But we'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is now Battle Phase of the Rising Sun.
Battle Phase of the Rising Sun at 6 a.m. now. I'm moving it back an hour. I'm torturing myself.
That's 5 a.m. for me. That's crazy.
6 a.m. starting time.
So that's basically Battle Phase Thursday, and then we have Friday, Saturday. I mean, there's going to be 6 of our tournaments plus whatever else happens. So we should have enough data to move on here. And for those of you new to the series, there were weeks where we had, 4 tournaments on here or something?
Oh, yeah, like that
back
first
when
week
we were only doing a tournament,
that first week when they switched formats.
Yeah. Well, like when we first started doing power rankings, sometimes there'd be like 3, 4, 5 tournaments every week. So this is good data. All right, so let's get to it. Who's going to win? Dun, 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 dun. Well, Kamel's wearing a hat, so that should tell you something. And in first place by exactly 20 points, Shiranui. Now,
you absolutely hate to see it. Now, Shiranui first on the power ranking circus. You got to tell me what's the breakdown. Combo control. What is it?
It's still 3/4 to 1/4 control to combo, but combo are the ones getting all the wins now.
Ooh, very, very interesting.
Yeah. Or a lot of the wins. They're doing a lot better than they had in the past. So
we'll discuss exactly why when we get into Shiranui. But just to take a look at some of the other things on the list, let's take a look at the very bottom. Some very interesting things from my tournament, Battle Phase, Rising Sun, Fortune Fairies.
My tournament. Listen to this guy. Look, he owns the damn thing.
I do Battle Phase Rising Sun, 6 a.m. Thursday morning. Fortune Fairies did get a top 8 spot along with Goki and Onomatopoeia all in that tournament. No, Air Mage as well in that tournament. So there you guys go. That'll be on Rogue Decks.
Meme of the Rising Sun, we'll call it.
It'll be on Rogue Decks. And the water deck, shark deck doing a little bit here and there. Hope it pops out in the following weeks, but
Can you? I know it'll be tough, but look at that list. What is not on there this week? Can you see it?
Man.
Can you see what's not there?
I can see what's not there.
What is it?
Dark Magician.
That's one of them. The cousin of Dark Magician, the Magician Girls. Nowhere to be seen.
Holy, it's not on the list.
Not even a top 8 this past week.
That's crazy, and we'll get into that because that's really interesting too on why that deck is not in the power ranking. So let's hop into it. Shiranui with a dominating. Oh yeah, what's up?
Oh, just real quick, if you look, there's basically like 3 or 4 like meta, quote unquote meta decks. The rest is all rogues. So that's great. So all right, Shiranui. Let's get into it.
Right. So Shiranui with a dominating performance on the week, 20 points, only a single tournament win, but 3 runner-ups on the week and 3 top 4 finishes, and its representation really coming in here to get it. It's a massive amount of points. You can see 6 top 8 finishes, just the massive amounts of finishes,
Yeah.
especially the higher ones, led to that. So 84 overall representation with a 13% up a
That's
conversion.
huge.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. If Shiranui gets that, oh man, that's tier 0, man.
So
Like,
normally I have the first place finish on here for the deck example, which would have been first place in Battle Phase EU. But deck submission was so low res that I couldn't even put it on the screen. Like you could, it
couldn't.
was so blurry you couldn't even see anything. So I had to go with Manu, Battle Phase Tuesday finalist, and he's playing the control version. After I just said Ghost Meets Girl is doing better, but Ghost Meet Girl is doing a lot better than it was. Less people are playing it, but it's still finishing higher a lot of the times over the control version.
Right, yeah, and look, Power Rankings is its own entity now, so we can say whatever we want, Circus. Look, Shiranui is approaching that tier 0 status. 13% is unheard of for a deck like this with the amount of representation and the amount of gap in representation that it sees from other decks. Just too many people are playing it for you to guarantee a favorable result overall from the week. And 13% is definitely well over like the 9% that we usually see Shiranui average out on a good week. So they're doing very well right now.
Our last video, someone made some fair points about what would make a tier 0 meta, and I think there's different definitions. I guess the way we're defining it is just if a deck can beat the rest of the other decks by 20 points, that's a lot of points. That's at least the equivalent of 3 tournament victories and a top 4 finish. That's 20 points.
Usually,
So
usually what holds Shiranui back is that even though it is doing good, so many people are playing it that different calibers of players are playing it, so you can't really account for its advantages everywhere because some people just aren't good enough. They're going to lose
right.
some matchups. So, but that is not looking to be the case over the course of the last couple weeks for Shiranui. They have the not the control. The combo version
Yeah.
has a lot of advantages against decks like Chrisrons and Magician Girls, which I am
Especially,
very,
yeah.
which is one of the reasons why it is not on the list. You said the combo version did very well this week. That deck is especially good at dismantling Magician Girls entirely. Magician Girls, even though it is an invoked deck, it is considerably weaker than Element Sabers, and its vital weakness is them just losing to having their resources being ripped out of the graveyard because that's where they have to have them to fusion summon. So if you're able to remove that, which you're very easily able to do with the Sealing Ceremony of Katon in combo
Yeah.
Shiranui, then
Yeah, that's a killer. But they banish what you need, and then they banish their spirit master, and then they pop your
exactly.
card. It's like
Or they banish anything that they need to get their plays going,
right,
and
right.
you lose. And that's something that Chrisrons, Magician Girls, Karl Curry struggle with, especially. Karl Curry have one out in their deck to their boss monster being destroyed, and you can remove their boss monster from the grave with
Yeah,
Katon. So you
yeah.
have a lot of options against every other meta deck with combo Shiranui, and that is coming in, especially now when that's the way to play in tournaments.
Yeah, combo Shiranui. When you see someone play it, it's just masterful when they really know what they're doing.
Mm.
Shiranui number 1. I'm still giving him a shout out because he's probably the best I've seen play it. And you know, I cast one tournament week, but I watch a lot of the other ones too. So I think he's got my pick for top Shiranui player. Well, that's in his name, Shiranui number 1. So there you go. All right,
Yeah, hit
let's
him
move
up.
on to the next deck, which I guess at this point doesn't even matter. When you're 20 points ahead of second place, it's like you can't even see them back there. It's like, who's back there behind me? I can't even see that. And it's Christron's, a deck that I've been playing lately. I've been having a lot of fun with, but doesn't even come close. And this is the SSA version that won Battle Phase Monday with Playmaker. There, we see both, but I think the SSA version see a little bit more tournament play.
Right, and I think that this is just proof of how much representation can really count at the end of the day on the power rankings, because you can see Christrons does perform pretty well per the people that do play in the top 32 of the tournament, but it really just lacks the sheer manpower behind
Right.
a deck like Shiranui. And it did wash out a lot in the top 8 this week, but it did receive a tournament win in Battle Phase Monday. So I'm interested to see what decks it lost to, see if we can compare it later.
Oh, and just real quick, in case you're looking at the stats, what I like to do, you see 5 top 8 finishes but then you see 7 over on the deck list or the deck score. The Draft Biweekly didn't publish their overall representation and their top 32 representation, so I
Oh,
can't
so
include that in the results because I just don't know. I can say obviously 2 decks made it through, but how many rest were in the tournament and things like that. So sometimes
okay,
the
so that's why
numbers
the representation is a little low. I see.
that's why it seems a little off at times. So Draft Biweekly, please make your graphics and submit them.
But yeah, like I said, this deck very, very effective at locking down your opponent, making sure that they cannot deal with your large threats, and making your synchro monsters to just dismantle your opponent's field.
And the
But
SSA version is so degenerate.
yes, but this deck has a vital weakness to Shiranui.
It
And
does. Yeah.
anytime Shiranui can just banish Citadel Whale from the graveyard as you're about to tribute 2 waters to summon it,
Right.
banish your any of your tuners before you can bring them back
Oh,
with
that's the worst. Yeah.
like banish your Smiger before you can use it to search Chrisron Impact. Like anything, you are so vulnerable to all the times. Banish Solfefnir. You can't play. Like
I've been playing this in the KC Cup, and I got to admit, it's been rough because there's so many people playing Shiranui,
yeah.
and they're moving over to the combo version, and it's just like you said, every time it's like, man, there goes my tuner. Man, every time you
And,
need
and
something.
now that we're moving away from the best decks being just like straight up, I summon this guy, I summon this guy, synchro. Now that we're moving into a lot of the meta decks being graveyard based and reliant, you utilizing your graveyard, discarding things. Combo is the better way to disrupt your opponent. Having floodgates and Canadians in your hands, that's only going to take you so far because your opponent is going to be able
Right.
to remove that stuff from their field and utilize them when they're in the graveyard, and you're not going to have anything to deal with them once they're continuously utilizing their graveyard. So
Well, and then,
combo. Mhm.
well, Christrons only have one way to get those cards back, and they can get 1 card back with the impact. So you banish all that stuff, they can bring 1 of them back, and that's so
Exactly.
devastating.
Right. So like the sense of graveyard control, I will say, is more effective against controlling the meta decks right now instead of Canadian Floodgate. That is what we're seeing in tournaments right now.
And a lot of decks or a lot of Crystron players, they're not playing the Empowered and Zektrons. So even if,
Yep.
let's say, you get the Rion out, which can bring back a monster from the banish pile on your opponent's turn, unless the Rosenix is out there,
You have no machine targets.
yeah, you have nothing to bring back because you can't summon
Right.
anything.
You
So
you are locked on your Rion to you cannot use like a Smiger effect, a Rosenix effect, a Price Yordle effect before you use Rion. You have to just summon that or summon like a wielder beside it and something else to make a play. You can't like use a different effect.
right, yeah, because otherwise you're locked out. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So Crystrons, I think, definitely has some strong limitations, especially with the combo Shiranui around. So I think their combo Shiranui is holding Crystrons in check by greatly.
Yep.
We see
But
that a lot.
congratulations, Playmaker, for winning on the week.
Yeah.
And
Well, he probably
yeah.
just beat like Luna Lights or something like that. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm sure we could look it up. All right, let's move on here to third place. Karl Curry. Look at that. Did
Hey,
win
Carl.
Battle Phase Sunday. Hey, that's me. I remember this. It was quick, as usual.
But yeah, look at that, man. Karl Curry, they have only 4 placements on the week. That is rough. Karl
Yep.
Curry, we're just being hailed as one of the best decks, being able to utilize side deck. I say it every week, but just look how quickly things have changed. Other decks can get out their boss monsters that are more effective and useful after they're destroyed. Instead of Karl Curry's, you get this guy out, he goes to the grave. What's he gonna do? Get brought back by Gamma Oil? Oh, good thing I have Cosmic Cyclone or a Catone to banish your guy. So that your threats are easily removed, and then once they're all removed, you have no other plays with Karl Curry.
Well, even like Crystron's using Brio just to return him to the deck. Or to
Yeah,
the
even
extra
that,
deck,
like once you use your tuners, even you can run out of resources that way as well. You have no way to
Yeah.
bring back your main deck monsters or extra deck monsters in this deck, and that's something that makes it considerably weaker than Crystron's and Shiranui as a synchro deck.
Well, it's also a back row deck. I think people forget that because their boss monsters really don't do a whole lot.
Right.
Like when the level 10 for Shiranui comes out, it pops cards. That's devastating. Whereas these guys come out and they just start turning. I'm gonna turn you. I'm gonna turn you. I'm gonna draw a card. I'm gonna turn you. And if you don't really draw into your outs, or like a Karma Cut or Phoenix Chain, like you see here, let's say you just draw into your Cosmic Cyclone and you're playing against Chrisrons, what's that gonna do you?
Yeah, nothing. And
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking at Karl Curry to drop off in the following weeks. Only a 5% conversion rate to the top 8 this week. That is low. Although its top 32 conversion rate was pretty low as well.
Yeah.
So
I think
not
it's just
looking
because it's easily sided against two, and
very
it's
easily.
not optimal to run system down for both Chrisrons and Karl Curry, but it works against both.
It definitely puts Karl Curry in the hole. They
Yeah.
cannot play after that card.
Right,
So
because some people debate, system down versus Necro Valley versus what Acid Rain or something like that.
mm,
But system down will work. It may not be optimal for both decks, but it will work. So it's easy to run the one card for the two decks.
right.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to the next deck. A very big surprise, and I think the secret magnet Discord server, the one you know the secret knock to get into, they're
Yeah.
celebrating right now. Magnets, look at this, and this is
Yes.
legit, man. Look at this, 9 points. That's
Yeah,
good.
Magnets did very well, and in Battlefield Rising Sun, they did wash out top 16. Unfortunately, a couple
Oh,
of them,
so close,
but
so close.
they did win Battlefield Tuesday. A very good player, Urbel, TPC player, playing Magnets with See You Later. Very different from what we were seeing before in people
Mhm.
playing Bring It for the Destiny Hero Plasma boss monster added on, but making very good use of magnetic field, but only playing a powerful rebirth as traps. That's something I have not seen in a while. Most people opting to play Super Team Buddy Force
Mhm.
I've seen around, but if you're interested in playing magnets, this is a very solid, low cost overall list that has basically the essentials in it. I wonder how much he made use of the Xyz
I was
engine.
about to say, did that
Yeah.
get used much?
Well, you gotta think the magnet effects do not go off um,
If they're
when
discarded or
but
detached? Yeah.
But if they're in the graveyard, you can use magnetic field to bring them back after you detach
Okay.
them. So there's that. So maybe there's some synergy there. But yeah, very tight list from Urbel. Congrats. But 17% conversion rate to the top 8 for magnets at an 18 overall representation, though I don't think they'll qualify, right?
No, it doesn't. No.
Unfortunate, but that is great. So
Yeah, that's really
you guys
good.
have the cards for magnets. They're looking pretty solid. See You Later seems to be working. That way you can reutilize your searches with your electromagnets. They are very powerful, especially the beta and the alpha at searching your boss monster
Mhm.
and other magnets. And then you can See You Later them back to your hand, use them again next turn, or bring it, tribute 3 monsters, summon Destiny Hero Plasma, and you suck up your opponent's monster and negate all monster effects on the field. So that is also very powerful.
And I did want to point out this is running 3cc, and if we go back to the Crystron build, they're also running 3cc. Now I think the Karl Curry version's running 2, because a
So
lot
yeah.
of people will debate, oh, you don't need 3cc, you don't need 3 of a certain card. I think it's always good to have 3 because you just never know. Because when you're building your back row, if you look at the deck we're looking at right now, he's got 3 of everything because he wants to hit those in
Yeah,
his
and
opening
if
hand.
you're,
You know,
I want to say if you're playing a mid tier or a rogue deck like Magnets, 3cc is definitely a card you want to play. You have access to it. You probably will always have access to it, and it's your best option for a moving back row.
well, just
So
anytime you're building like a back row like this, it's nice to be consistent. I mean, that's obviously the why he's got 3 of each, because he wants one of those cards consistently, and that's why you run 3 of each. So a lot of people would be like, don't get your third CC, you don't need it. You just might. You just might if you want to
yeah,
play
just might.
magnets. You just never know. All right, moving on to 5th place. Here we go. It's actually, I believe, a tie. Yes, there was a tie between this one and the next one, but this one had a win, whereas the other one did not. Oh wait, no, it did have a win. That
Battle
was in the
Phase Rising Sun, baby,
yeah.
my
It was
tournament.
a tie with Trimids, and they won the draft bi-weekly. So I gave Spellbooks the 5th place because it's the Rising Sun. You know what I mean? No, they're both
Battle
tied for
Phase
5th place, but
Rising Sun. This tournament
yep.
was insane, and Bomba was playing like an animal. He did not break a single time this tournament. We watched him almost every round, and he made expert use of the Spellbook deck, always opening one of the 9 starters because you can play Crescent Library at 3. That is one of the
Yep.
things that are making this deck very good. You're able to play Crescent Library, select the field spell, and if you rip into that, you can then take spells that are in your graveyard, put them back in your deck, reuse Crescent if you see it again, and being able to reuse that card is very good at seeing multiple spellbooks in your hand, which you want for now the boss monster,
Mm-hmm.
High Priestess of Prophecy, which can be summoned multiple times per turn by revealing
Yeah.
3 spellbooks as many times. So you can summon it, summon another one, or you can summon it, see you later, summon it again, activate its effect each time it's on the field. It's insane by banishing a spellbook from your graveyard or hand. That is extremely versatile. And yeah, this deck just works so good. It's everything you remember about spellbooks back then, but they have a proactive boss monster
Right.
and not something that
It's not
just
just
negates
Silent
spell.
Magician or
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's good to see this deck up here. I used to love playing the old spell book, so it's good to see you back. And like you were saying, the High Priestess is such a cool card to watch. I haven't seen him in a tournament lately myself, but the one time I did get to watch him, I was very impressed because I was like, this spellbook player just did an OTK. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Just like anything that you could do before, like copying power, like eternity, like to activate fate, then get it back for next turn and still have enough stuff in your grave. All of that is just so much better because of the Spellboy Tower and High Priestess and See You Later. And oddly enough, this deck can make use of the extra deck when it needs to. Shining Elf is fun to meme around with. It's a spellcaster, so you can still utilize it with all of your spellbook cards and lower your opponent's monster's attack. And the other level 2 is not a spellcaster, so be careful if you do play that. But he has a cool effect. And yeah, that's spellbooks, baby. I love
Well,
this deck.
didn't the Eternity used to be semi-limited?
Yes, it was semi-limited because that was your main way of
Looping.
recycling fate.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's just funny because I just bring that up because they're only running one now. If you look at the deck
Well,
before,
yeah,
it had to be limited. Now it's like, we only need one.
because that was one of you. That was like your only way to get back your used spell books. But now, if you have Spellbook Tower on the field, it does that every turn.
Yeah, so that's pretty
And
nice.
Wisdom, I didn't talk about Wisdom. Wisdom, insanely good. Makes
Mhm.
one of your spellcasters unaffected to spells or traps. You choose them, and it's a quick effect. So very powerful when you're going all in, as this deck now does a lot.
And
And
it's all searchable. That's what's cool.
it's all searchable, all of it.
Yeah. All right, we'll do the at a glance numbers here real quick. Overall representation this week, of course, Shiranui double that of Chrisron's Karl Curry, Ritual
Mhm.
Beast. Look down there at the bottom though. Trimid's Evil Eye. Invoked Heroes is a thing.
And it is a thing.
It's a thing. I don't know
I've heard some
why.
talk about it. I've heard it's a thing. Guys, there's better stuff to play, man. Come
Right.
on.
The
Come on.
water deck I'm kind of happy to see. It's definitely got
Yeah,
some
Shark Deck.
limitations.
Love
It's
it.
definitely got some limitations. So I
I
don't think it's
love
gonna
Shark Deck.
make a big splash. See what I did there in the meta, just because it feels like it's a very what is it, like a front end deck? You know what I mean? It comes out, makes a big play, and then it has no way to recover
We just
after
need some
that.
more Z's monsters, man. That's all
Yeah,
we need.
but not too bad. So Shiranui, the kings of representation. Conversion rates. Our rule is you got to be played at least 20 times a week to make the conversion rates. But look at that. Shiranui, Chrisron, Cyber Dragons, all at 13%. Just Ritual Beast not doing too bad, but not really scoring any points this week. And Kara Curry,
Shiranui being on top of conversion rates. Wow.
what a
That's
surprise.
incredible.
Actually, that is a surprise. Usually they're like 4%.
Mhm.
Top 8 finishes this week. What a surprise. Shiranui with 11. Down at the bottom, before you guys get all crazy, I'm sorry, they shouldn't say fortunately. I kept putting it in because my head, it's fortune
Fortune Fairy.
fairies, fortune
Fortune
fairies. So
Fairy.
it's not fortune ladies. But at the bottom, Arrow Mages, Megaliths, Onomatopoeia, all that. It's all a tie. It's all a
Mhm.
tie at that point. They all made a top 8. So yeah, but fortune fairies, we've been seeing that a lot more recently too.
Yeah, it's just a really consistent invoked engine again.
Right.
That's it.
Trying to see if there's anything. The Arrow Mages kind of surprised me because we haven't seen them around for a while.
Yep. There's also Battle
Weather
Patrol.
Painters have been getting some more play. I don't know why I've been hearing people talk about them more. I'm not sure, but
Mainly in no side deck events, they're seeing a lot of
okay.
success. But yeah, people are playing them every now and then over here.
All right. And then most victories this week. Everybody just kind of spread it around.
Triamids, they won too?
Yeah.
Oh man, all right.
Not
Okay.
bad, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody got a victory, but Shiranui just wrapped it all up. Yeah, Trimid's tied with Spellbooks. But
Oh,
since we
okay.
only covered the top 5, one of them had to sit to the side. And we've covered Trimids quite a bit, so I wanted to get Spellbooks in there.
All
So
right.
that is everything, my friends. There you go. Looking at the main list again. Look it down there.
So guys,
Goki, Onomatopoeia, Arrow Mage.
this is the power rankings at the same time as the KC Cup. So let me know what you guys think. How was the KC Cup for you guys? How do you think it's going to affect the meta going forward? And what do you guys want to see on the ban list according to what did well in the power rankings this week? So yeah, let us know.
Yeah. I hope you guys liked it. And if you did like it, make sure to get in our Discord. We have an awesome new player channel in there where you can go and ask for help on building these wonderful decks that you see on the screen. We're also doing a new player stream every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We didn't do it this past week because Mythyard has been streaming for like 48 hours straight now, doing the
Yeah.
KC Cup. He's still on right now as we're filming this, and so check out that stream. It's a good time. We just play fun decks, and then we can answer all your questions. So
Yeah, and we are bringing back our major competitive event, Damage Step, in about
yes,
2 weeks on December 8th. It's going to be a $5 entry fee. So if you are a super competitive player, you're super confident in your dueling skills, get in the Discord, enter there.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Damage Step returns. So all right, we're gonna get out of here. I'm Circus. That's
Come
Kamel.
out. Peace out.
See ya.